The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Genesis Invitational. That's key this year. Picks, preview, bets, one and done. We got it all for you. Plus, I got some giveaways. I got some winners. It's going to be a good show because this is probably the strongest field we've seen outside of a FedEx Cup playoffs or Players Championship. Like, it's stronger than probably the Masters, to tell you the truth, because there's just no old jabronis. Ian Woosnam isn't in the field this week. So Genesis Invitational, if you want to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks, smash the like, leave your DraftKings handle. Tell me who's going to win this week. That easy. You want to get into a draw for 100 DraftKings dollars? Easy one too. Subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. We need to get these 5-star reviews on the up and go. So, subscribe to the podcast, 5-star review, DraftKings handle, and something you like about the show. Not necessarily this show, just the show in general. A nice ad for the show. Get those 5 stars up. Boom. And another giveaway for 20 DK bucks. Follow me on the Instagrams at the PME. You see a golf post go up. You just put your DraftKings handle after you give that a quick heart on Instagram, and boom, you're in a draw for 20 DK bucks. Here are the winners from last week. We got $100 winner, Frog Hammer, the winner of 20 DK dollars, J-Dog Skeet Skeet, Log Dog 21, Thunstrom 1, and Draft 867. The UFC winner will be announced on the UFC show. Shocking enough. Geoff Fienberg's here. What's up?
I'm all right. We're good.
Right before we came on air, it was announced that Philip Rivers was not returning to
Expected
the Chargers.
news,
But
it's still like just stop. The Band-Aids are finally over.
We are doing a football show that is coming out on Wednesday.
You'll get all the takes.
You'll get all, and Cust is going to be on it, so tune into that. I got some baseball on the way, too. We had Gary and Amini in here doing baseball breakdowns. I went to the gym. I don't need to know this stuff. No. But, yeah, they're going to be in here doing that.
And I want to play a game on the football show, but
we got a game? Oh, so you brought a game for me to play?
Not a game, but I think...
Are you Jigsaw?
No, I think like on this date of recording, we should... and people can look forward to it. We all make our predictions for like the 7 teams and the mysteries of quarterback.
Oh, okay. I like that.
And we see, and then maybe in 2 weeks we can change some. But for now, where we are.
Producing on the fly, I like it.
No, there's a lot of dots.
Well, we haven't had Cust on in a while. I didn't. Shout out to Cust, because I did not have a great golf betting week. I got Jason Day into the final 2 groups. I was like, hey, can he go do it? But Tim declaring Sam Mendes in 1917 free money after I had already given out the 4-1 on Parasite, tripled down on my bet. Boom. Really saved my ass, as did Paul, because I got like blackout drunk watching the Super Bowl. And when the Chiefs were behind, I bet them and parlayed them with John Jones. And then I didn't even remember I had the bet. Then I had a whole bunch of money in my account. I was like, what the fuck is this from? I was like, oh, nice. Got to make more bets when I'm not paying attention. When I do the statistical analysis, shit picks.
Listen,
when I'm blackout drunk, winning money.
We'll be right back here in a year minus a week. Pebble Beach was exactly what we said it was going to be. Literally. And weren't the only ones. You call it. Someone is going to go lights out on a course, get a favorable rotation. And just like Phil couldn't beat Von Taylor, he couldn't beat Nick Taylor.
Well, and
Phil
Saturday. Big day for the curse, too. Because Tim didn't release it publicly, but he told us that Phil was definitely going to win, that he was free money, and that he bet him. Yeah. And then as the tournament started going along, he was like, oh, Nick Taylor can't lose. Yeah, listen, we know what you're up to, Tim.
Phil got filled, but listen, they both made enough strokes elsewhere through the week that they could afford to bleed some on the back, and I don't know, it happened. And did Phil even come second? I'm not picking on him.
Streelman came second.
It was a great week.
Shocking
for
to
Phil.
me, because I didn't think he was going to compete at all.
Yeah, off of the second in Saudi, which we didn't want to give any credit to, but this one we are going to, put 2 performances in a row and be like, that's pretty cool. I'm proud but disappointed he's not taking the U.S. Open exemption. I think he should have.
Maybe he thinks he can play his way in. Maybe he's feeling the bombs.
He's obviously feeling that. Speaking of playing their way in, great little Sunday for Spieth.
And is it more fitting that he chipped in on the last hole to get it? He went from native area to chip in for par.
And as disappointing as it is, there's always times you cut the clip of me ranting about the networks. It's really a shame that something in such a boring Sunday of double bogeys on the back nine and Phil and Taylor vomiting them over themselves and Larry Fitzgerald.
Winner, 2-time Pro-Am champ.
Awesome.
Streelman and Fitz.
For them not to make any mention of what like real golf fans were watching and observing was, the Spieth situation. And you like him or hate him, he's a polarizing player.
It's a story.
I was cheering for it. I said I thought he would get the top 12, even though I lost a side bet on the internet versus Kevin Na.
Kevin Na, nice rally, by the way. For the final 3 rounds for Kevin Na were nice.
It wasn't a on the books head-to-head. It was off the books in a DM. But that was a ridiculous roller coaster of a head-to-head matchup.
What did Na start? 4 over on
No,
Thursday?
he started 4 under.
Yeah, but then he was 4 over at the end.
Then he was like 4 over, and then he got it to like 1 under, and then to like 5 under. Great little week to make the cut. He's, playing, I don't really care to talk about Kevin Na on this thing, but Spieth got what he needed. He's in Mexico. A lot of encouraging signs. At the same time, if you were stat tracking it, the drives were off the fairway.
Yeah, of course.
But
we talked about it. Driving didn't matter this week.
But when he was on the fair, there were a lot of he missed a lot of 4 and 8 footers that he could have even scored better. But Spieth and Daniel Berger weaseling some top 10s with quality Sundays as everybody went the other way.
Everyone with the hit. Streelman, Berger, and Spieth all moved up, and so did like Lyon.
Well, Streelman was already up there.
Yeah, but Streelman was of that group because I ended up on Malnati after Saturday. He was 200-1 going into the back 9 at Monterey where there's 3 par 5s, and he was at -10. I was like, pick up 2 more birdies here. You're like 3 shots off at 200-1.
And it was
and then he just went away.
And even getting, because I know a lot of people, it was a week where you liked a lot of dogs and there was like more of the top 20 bets were popular. And the top 20s were kind of in play all
and then
day
they all went away.
Everybody.
Wu got there, and then he immediately gave it all back. Then Luke Donald got there and immediately gave it all back.
Luke Donald
3 times
Peyton
this
Manning.
week. 3 times this week, Luke Donald went like birdie, 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 double bogey, but double bogey. It was like, come on, man. You're supposed to be able to make these 5-foot putts. What are you doing? Spieth approach on the weekend. I believe it was in the 3rd round. I think it was like 4.7 strokes gained approach, his most gained on approaches in over 3 years. Like, we talk about twofold. Spieth trying to turn it around a little bit. You need to see the ball striking come back. It looks like the approaches are coming back. Once he can just figure out the driving a little bit. Because now he's basically Wes Bryan out there. The guy can't drive, but he can hit approaches and putt. He doesn't have the distance of Phil. Maybe he does have the distance of Phil. Phil's distance is off the charts.
Phil?
He actually does hit bombs. But, one sec. Spieth actually getting in, I know why you're rooting for it. Like, you don't want to... It's not fun to have Spieth be, like, terrible. It's fun to have him around because you like to root against him, but it'd be no fun if he wasn't there.
Sure. And
you don't hate him.
No, but now, as you pointed out, like, I don't... Not, like, revisionist history... Whatever, props, called that he would have a drop-off, but I'm not, I could be part of it. But like a 20-1 or something at the Masters, I'm not going to touch it. But I don't know. I'm here to see him play fine and get his occasional, win every 16 months, like a lot of the top 40 players in the world are capable of doing.
Yeah, basically just pull a Stenson, essentially.
Yeah, sure.
Compete at a major a year and then like pick up a Travelers along the way once every 2 years.
Seems about right. And there are a lot of places that he will go and be incredibly comfortable at.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see him rebound a little
Phil
bit.
looks fantastic.
Yeah, he's
forgetting the play.
He's 50.
No, I'm not even talking about the scorecard. I'm talking about his physical appearance.
And yes, he's 50. He's the best shape he's ever been in.
Yes, he's been on social media and documenting it. And we've kind of seen it. But like, you just, I don't know. On Sunday, when you get 5 hours of it, maybe 7, he looks just phenomenal.
We should have saw
because even in his I don't mean to interrupt. I do that a lot, but even in his profile pic, they got to change that because it still looks like soccer mom, like from a couple years ago. Probably the file photo we got. He's got it. He's worthy of looking as great as possible in those profile pics because he looks fantastic.
It should really just be a picture of his calf. They should allow him to wear shorts on the PGA Tour just to showcase the calves.
He had that great tweet after Saudi in like the Red Sea. I'm not Moses, like from behind and like a dark silhouette. It was great. Better than Brady's.
I think that was a part of a Super Bowl commercial. Though.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure Tim will complain about
Sweet integrated marketing. What's wrong with that?
Listen.
Got to get paid, Jeff. Got to get paid.
Just better not be my quarterback.
Get them Insta-bucks.
Better not be.
It was kind of clear that Phil probably wasn't going to have much left in the tank because on Saturday, I think he chipped everything in.
But do you know who did that the week before and won? Graham McDowell.
True.
Graham McDowell Saturday, that week he won, was literally, he did everything you saw Phil do on Saturday, except you were sleeping when it happened. And Phil would have fit that narrative too. Of the, like, yes, on a different tour, but we were joking how Westwood and McDowell just got victories.
Yeah, that's how I ended up on Luke Donald last week. He did not play poorly.
It was 300. What was Phil to win last week?
22-1.
Oh.
That's why we weren't on. Like, if Phil was 70-1, we probably would have been on. But he
I
was
didn't
priced as a
see
favorite.
anybody with a Phil ticket.
I saw a bunch of DraftKings up, but I didn't see anyone with a Phil ticket.
I didn't see
either.
anybody with a Phil ticket.
I basically, this is the tournament I watched the least all year. I stuck to it. I didn't have a huge betting card because I didn't want to watch it, and then I stayed away from watching it as much as possible. Watched a lot of movies on Sunday, gearing up for the Oscars. But I tuned in because I had Day. I was like, let's see how Day's doing.
Day was doing Day things.
Oh, man. All I needed to see was it was number 4, middle of the fairway.
Bunkers, yeah.
No, just middle of the fairway. Like, he's there for like 70 yards
It's
from the
a
hole.
332-yard hole.
70 yards, just like a flick wedge in. Puts it into the right bunker and short side, like it's death. Like you can't get it up and down from, or you need to make like a 15-foot putt to get it up and down from there.
Yeah.
He gets it to 15 feet out of the bunker. He misses, but he pulls it like way right. No one else was doing that. So then he steps to number 5 and then the par 3, and then he's just way left in the bunker, the one spot on number 5 without going like way over that you just can't be. And then you can't get it close, and then you 2-putt, and it's another bogey, and you're done. I didn't need to see any more from Jason Day. Unless he started chipping everything in, he was dead. And then
He went in the bunker on 6 and 7 too. Don't worry about it.
I was done with Day at that point. But then as soon as Nick Taylor chipped in for eagle, I was like, game over. I saw Phil make the double on 8, and it was like, yeah, this.
No, but it got interesting for a moment.
It got interesting.
And I was picking up the Chinese food for the family, and he chipped in again to sort of feel like, okay, now it might actually be over. But it got real hairy. And
it didn't really get hairy because he was up by so much. The only thing that I paid attention to, I was like, oh, I might have to tune back in here because Streelman was making a move. And I was just like outside having a cigarette and looking at Shot Tracker and being like, oh, he's on. He needs to get there in 2 or put it close in 2. And I saw that like his third shot was from like 125 out on 18. He just didn't stick it close. I was like, par's no good here, Kev. You need to make birdie and really put the pressure on. And he didn't do it.
No, but
Taylor could have played number 18 with a 7-iron the entire way and won.
Yes, but there was a moment of hairiness because I think it was 15 after the double bogey. Taylor was out of position again, and he chipped in again, and Phil had made a great chip that looked like he was going to save par. But I don't know, it was still kind of entertaining in that Taylor got up 5, and then Phil made the most insane par save on like 10, where he got free relief from something.
Shocking.
And then made an insane par save, and he gave like a big fist pump, and then he got a stroke back on 10, got one back on 11, then all of a sudden it was like 2. And you know, Phil, like from Ryder Cups, like, I don't know, he's just doing that math. You're just trying to get it to a point. And it was kind of entertaining. I was cheering for a TSN Sports called Nick Thomas.
You know what I can't stand? And this is going to apply to Canadians only. But like, you see like the Canadian.
Oh, they called in Bob Weeks today.
Yeah,
as if like when Tiger Woods wins, it's not important.
This is the whole thing. So like, I see it because, you know, I end up following these.
I'm angry too.
It's not that I follow these goobers. It's that other people I follow
Agreed.
these idiots. And then it gets retweeted into my like Twitter timeline. It's like, turn on the golf right now. Nick Taylor's in the lead. It's like, you know, Tony Finau and Webb Simpson were going at it last week. I hate to break it to you, that's far more entertaining.
Yeah.
I get that you're Canadian, but if you cover golf, like you don't just cover Canadian golf, you cover golf. So that means if a Canadian is not in it, you don't care. That is a horrible message to send.
Guess what? To your point, 5 minutes before the Super Bowl, Webb Simpson versus Tony Finau was exponentially more important to me.
To everyone. They're 2 high quality players. I'm happy Nick Taylor won. I like Nick Taylor.
I was cheering for Nick.
Dillette was all over cheering for him. It was great.
I didn't want to see him like blow a 5-shot lead.
Yeah, me neither. Once Day was done, I had no runners. It was like, let's go, Nick Taylor.
I'm with you. And I'm happy to see Phil's resurgence. I wish he kind of got second place because according to the pre-tourney math, second would put him into Mexico.
Where he's already won.
Where he has already won, just like we were cheering for Spieth. So both those guys were kind of on a bubble. Weird to see how that all played out.
2 things, and both these guys are in the field this week, but just quick one. Do we get a great number on Casey because he shot like 9 over on Sunday?
He's one of the very few players over 30-1 that I think has a pulse.
And did we get a better number on DJ because he had a bad Sunday?
I have bet Dustin Johnson.
Okay, this is good to know.
I have bet Dustin Johnson.
That's about all I got for Pebble Beach. Just don't bet anyone over between 30-1 or 200-1, basically.
Yeah.
Bet over 200-1 and less than 30-1 at Pebble Beach.
And we called everything that happened all week, from the long shot winner to, who might be there to Clint Eastwood,
that was
half
great.
in the chair.
That was great.
Half in the chair. Yeah. Made it all happen.
This.
Yeah, listen, I'm not making any more jokes. I love Clint.
You love Clint?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Big fan. I'm sure a lot of people don't like Clint. But did you see his movie this year?
The Mule?
No, it was the Atlanta bombing one.
Oh, Richard Jewell. I haven't, but I will. That's a home movie.
It's probably a quick watch, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I can watch that on I'll watch that at home. I don't need to go to theaters for that.
All right, let's get into Riviera. I mentioned off the top that this is now an invitational, which is big. So we talked about the strength of the field. It's basically the strongest non-WGC, non-major, non-FedEx Cup field, like a regular rotation event in like 30 years. This field is incredible because the field is no longer 156 players or 144 players, whatever it is. It now has invitational status like Heritage, like Colonial, like Bay Hill, like the Memorial. 121 max. I believe there's 121 in the field this week. Top 65 in ties make the cut after 2 rounds. So a high percentage, DraftKings wise, are going to make the cut this week, unlike last week where it was the biggest gap that you're going to have all year. And like you mentioned, Tiger made a few phone calls, be like, "Are you good? Play in this tournament." Everyone was like, "Yes, sir, I will be there." And they're here. Yeah. 9 of the top 10 players in the world at Riviera this week. We know the course. It's 7,322 yards, but it's longer than that because it has 2 of the shortest par 5s on tour, which really takes away from the courses can pad up their length by having like a 650 yard par 5. Riviera does not, and it has one of the shortest par 4s on tour as well. So I believe there's 7 holes, 450 to 500 yards. That's tough. It's a course with I believe the most approaches from beyond 175 yards. You need to be long here. Like shorter players can compete, but they need to be so precise with long irons, like 6 irons, 5 irons, that kind of thing. Or they're hybrids, whatever they're hitting, that you go back and look at the guys who have won here. JB wins last year, -14. Bubba, DJ, Bubba, Han! Bubba Watson. And Finau and Cantley and all these guys just compete year after year. The 2 years, there were bad weather. Last year, they played 36 holes on Sunday, and JT
wilted it.
Gagged. He 4-putted and 3-putted 2 holes on the back 9. So JB wins, and he blew a 4-shot lead. And James Hahn won at -6, also a terrible weather. He beat DJ and Casey in a playoff.
2 world-class players at the finish line.
Correlation courses, the Masters.
But you're not going...
Correlation courses, the Masters, and Quail Hollow, for sure.
We go farther back, and we get a little couple wiener winners, like a Weir and a Merrick, too.
Merrick,
go farther in
Merrick had a weird chip-in year the year he won. But Bubba's won 3 times, Phil has won twice, Mike Weir has won twice. What does that tell you? What's this geared for? Lefties. Just like Augusta's is.
And I saw a stat, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the event that by teeing it up this week, Tiger will have played the most times at Riviera without winning.
Yeah, it's the tournament he's played the most without a win. Yeah. The best he's ever come is second. Usually he doesn't sniff winning here. Yeah. And frankly, it's not a great week for him. He's the tournament host. He has a lot of obligations this week. And we're at a course where he doesn't normally play well.
Do you remember?
Not necessarily not play well, but not win.
If Tiger is struggling, how many times are you going to hear the telecast remind you he's the host and he's had so many obligations? Because I just remember from watching the Amex Desert Classic a couple weeks ago, all the air they were putting in Phil's tires, who, funny enough with Phil, said he was close. Everyone's laughing at his scorecards, and I guess he really meant it. Back to Tiger, yeah. I mean, we are going to have some fun here in a moment, but I hope I'm dead wrong. He's easy to cheer for on Sunday, but when dealing with the top, it's almost it's almost eliminating. And there's red ink for me. I'm not betting Tiger.
Before we get into it, the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League link is in the description of this video and podcast. Did not fill last week. That's the last time I go try to coax people to get into it. Either you want to play in it or you don't. I'm sorry that there's rake-free money to be had, but it's now smaller because of it, and I'm not going to ask for it to be any bigger until it starts filling quicker. It makes me look pathetic when I'm out there trying to peddle it. Like,
I don't like, very rarely, I sent out a tweet late to try, but yeah, I'm not going to.
it's the first time ever it didn't fill. So
is that an indictment? That's not an indictment on the tournament.
Maybe
As a whole, did they
it
see
is.
a down week?
Yeah. The 5 didn't fill. Like, it was a lot of head-to-heads weren't scooped. Like, it was just a very non-interested week. Either way, it's a rake-free tournament. It's the one you should be playing in.
Yeah.
So now it's down to 3,000 spots this week.
I know people are going to complain they didn't get in.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's their fault for not playing last week.
Well said.
So the tournament itself. 9 of the top 10 players in the world are here. The only one is who's not here.
Ricky?
He's not top 10 player in the world. Are you kidding me? There's top 10 Jeff likes.
What is it, 13th? What's Ricky in the world?
No, not top 10. He's not here. But Webb Simpson's not here. He's number 9.
So nondescript. Don't even miss him.
Webb?
Yeah.
Not a great event for him. Not on Bermuda in a super long course.
Like, I love Webb, and it's like, as we spoke about in our season preview, and he already got the win, like, his stats are literally put him with the names.
Yeah.
The super elites. You're like, this guy's got to regress. Well, he didn't regress in January. He actually won a tournament.
Now the number 1 player in the world, Rory McIlroy, is the favorite at this event. He's 7.5 to 1. Justin Thomas, last year's 54-hole leader, 9 to 1. John Rahm, 9 to 1. Dustin Johnson, 14 to 1. Tiger Woods, 18 to 1. Patrick Cantlay, 20. Brooks, Bubba, Xander, 22 to 1. Hideki, Finau, 28 to 1. That is everyone 30 to 1 and below. I have only bet one player from this range, and I know that you've only bet one player from this range.
I know who you bet.
Who did I bet?
Bubba?
Bubba Watson.
Yeah.
Comes in back-to-back top 10s. He wins this event literally every other year. Did not win last year. So, of course, he's going to win
with
this
22, or apparently some people were floating some bigger numbers.
There was a 25 out there very early this morning. I think it got hammered. I got it at 22. I'm fine with that.
Listen,
I wish it was 25, but that number's not going back up.
We're going to do a show, and it's going to be over an hour, and 99% of it, it's going to be neon lights talking about other players and distractions when everything is just pointing to Bubba Watson. First in strokes gained at Torrey Pines off the strokes gained total, I want to say, at Torrey Pines. Tee to green.
Stroke gain, tee to green.
At Phoenix, fantastic.
Missed a few putts, could have won.
Fantastic week. And now at the course where he wins every other year in form.
Should we be betting him at the Masters right now?
Oh, I wouldn't even know what his number is.
I assume it's like 35.
I don't know. I'm not betting Bubba Watson. I'm going to bet losers, but I could see.
Yeah, you're going to bet losers like Dustin Johnson.
Don't worry.
That's who you're betting. I wouldn't throw DJ into the loser bucket.
No,
just yet.
I got my losers are coming.
Okay.
Don't worry. Got lucky you didn't win a couple weeks ago.
If you had to choose one of the big three, Rory, Thomas, and Rahm. It's Rahm for me.
Rahm.
Too. Yeah. Okay. So we're on the same page.
I bet Dustin and Rahm and call it a week.
That's interesting. It's not. I mean, it's almost like what we did last week.
Well, last week, listen.
We got two guys. We got two guys at 20, but
happy to have faded. It's a process of elimination for me. Tiger was funny enough, easy to eliminate, and I'm an idiot because the other guy that just wins all the time, Brooks Koepka, I didn't really have a hard time.
Bubba Watson, 35 to 1 to win the Masters. On the number. I'm seeing it.
I'm
seeing it. I haven't hit a winner yet this year. At least you hit Min Woo.
Oh, yeah.
I was on Brandon Woo, but you hit Min Woo.
Min Woo, finally.
In Australia.
As I joked with you before Showtime, that's a guy that you almost, listen, Juan hit it, happy, not complaining, but would have just as likely to have won at like 50 to 1 in like a full field on the European tour.
Yeah, one of those Order of Merit Rolex
his ceiling
courses.
is insane. It was only a matter of time before he hit everything, kind of like Neiman-esque. Like, you're never going to be surprised.
I'm going to say it's almost like Hovland-esque.
Maybe 2016, I want to say, or 15 US Am winner. Like, his ceiling is through the roof. He's still a baby. Love the guy. So happy to see him win. His sister almost won too. That'd have been funny. That was like a joint event. Really annoying to watch.
There were people like passed out on the fringe.
There were no ropes. They let you bring people everywhere. Really interesting event there. But hey, that's a real win. European tour for Min Woo. So now I think we're going to start seeing him everywhere on the European tour.
Good news.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see him over here at some point.
He played some Corn Ferry last year. We were excited to bet him. I didn't even know who he was at the time, not going to lie. I was tailing other people, but like some big numbers. And him and like John Oda.
Well, John Oda is the king of the Corn Ferry Tour at like the beginning of the year. Every single year. You're like, man.
I don't think he won this year, though.
No, he didn't. But he comes like T4.
Anyway, talking about fun, cool players. People are running to Bitbrooks Koepka. I'm watching them. I wish I could book the bet.
I don't know, man. I'm not feeling the 22. It's a great number. That I don't want.
I wish I could book the bet. I can't afford to book someone's bets at 22 to 1, though.
You can't afford to bankroll that one?
No. Not like to actually book it. It's not worth it taking $5. But I would like book it. And the books are putting it out there for a reason. And you could say the number's too good. I don't care.
It is a good number. If you wanted to blindly
care.
bet Brooks at 22, I see absolutely no problem with that. I don't think that he's going to play like poorly this week. And if he wins, I mean, it's obviously not going to be a stunner, a guy with 4 majors in like the past 3 years. And again, winning at 22 to 1. It's a nice number. He's played here once. He missed the cut. And since he's returned from injury, he just doesn't look like Brooks yet. He's getting progressively better each week, and maybe it's just he needs a few, and then boom, it's all Brooks. But
don't worry,
I'd rather bet Bubba at 22 to 1. I really would, and I did.
I can't argue that. Things point. I'm just not I'm not betting Brooks. I'd rather have my money on DJ at Riviera. Brooks in LA to me this week. I bet you he's got like other things planned. I bet you there's like things planned.
Okay.
For big time Brooks Koepka.
All right. Like what?
I don't know. Like night shows, things, promotional just things. Brooks Koepka is in LA, is doing things. If Tiger was in Sentiment Invitation, he wouldn't be here. So now he's making the most of a business trip. That's how I see it. Now, guess what? In 18 days, it's the Honda Classic, and he'll be like 6 to 1. Or with JT, 8 to 1.
Is he playing that?
Played it last year. Wouldn't he play
a lot of shockingly enough, a lot of players play a tournament 1 year and then do not.
It's
play
in his
the next
backyard. I think he's gonna play. That's usually where he starts. This was the surprise entry,
which would lead. I don't know if he's in or out, but it would lead me to believe that maybe he doesn't play this year because he'll play this week and next week, and then probably not the week after.
Those are all good points.
So.
Yeah, a lot of guys like Tiger made this a big part of his thing, and he's scrapped Honda. He showed up there 1 year. He hasn't been back.
That was the first time that was the first Tiger comeback. Like, oh shit! And then he lost to Sam Burns on Sunday. But yeah,
that was Tiger's just going to events that like.
Yeah, but he like all of a sudden he was inside the top 10. It's like, oh my god, what's going on?
Yeah, find my tweets from that week. Not saying he's going to win this week, but everything. And there still was so much hate then. Like, you're an idiot.
So if we cross it off, like
I am an idiot.
Listen, I got no problem with Rory or JT, but if I had to pick, it would be Rahm. I'm considering going with you on DJ at 14 and making my card DJ, Bubba. I have one long shot and then maybe one guy from the mid tier and just call it a week.
I don't think anyone special is winning this thing.
Cantlay or Finau? It'd be Cantlay for me.
I love them both.
Hard hitting.
No, I've said like for me, like the guys with the triple underlines, Dustin's already bet. And if I bet Rahm, I can't really do anything else. But the card is going to be small but impactful. And just as it could be DJ Rahm, it could be DJ Cantlay Finau. Done.
Decky?
I'm not there. Cantlay, I feel like I don't want to abandon Finau. I guess they're not giving us I thought we'd get a better number.
Why would you think you get a better number than this?
I don't know.
Isn't this exactly what we called last week? 28 to 1?
Because he doesn't win. But 3 weeks before Torrey, I almost guaranteed he would win one of his next 3 events. And I didn't bet him at Waste Management. So I feel like I got lucky. And now I could catch it.
Out of all the guys in the 20 to 1s, I feel like he is the least likely to win. I think obviously Bubba is the most likely to win. That's why I bet Bubba Watson. It would then be Brooks, then Xander, then Cantlay, then Hideki, then Finau. That's where I would go with this. Not to say that he can't win, but like if you're going to judge him around all the guys around him, he's clearly the inferior player in terms of an outright bet. If you had to bet someone to come inside the top 10, sure.
As I said, I like losers, and I'm just happy I find a blind nut. The squirrel finds one once in a while.
I don't. I wish I could do that.
I could pay for something. But I feel a lot like, what were we saying? Where was it? Was it Torrey Pines with Leishman? It was like, yes, the very top of the board is going to be great. And the only guys at the back, no one's going to like win in that next tier without pedigree. Sort of like Leishman, or even how Bubba, like how those were the guys we were talking about at the back of the board at Torrey.
Okay. Xander has 2 appearances at this event, has never finished worse than 15th.
I don't want to bet him.
Why? Why would you prefer Finau to Xander? A guy who wins versus a guy who can't win? I'm just curious. I mean, you might not be wrong.
I think right now in this moment, Finau is on the extreme cusp of it.
You don't think that he blew it?
Okay, that's what I was going to say. I was wrong, dead wrong many times, especially less than a year ago, where I thought after playing that Sunday with Tiger at the Masters, yes, he was very much in it, but I was like, Frankie had the big lead, then Frankie blew it, then it was all Tigers. That like something really amazing was going to come from that. And all that really comes from these things are team golf appearances. And not the wins that I'm expecting. All these great showings get this guy is spots on USA rosters. Is sort of what I'm saying.
Sure, I could see myself this week, instead of doing like Dustin and Bubba, I could do Bubba, Xander, and Cantlay. And that's my week.
Total makes sense.
I remember that we did that one year here, and Bubba ended up winning. We had Scott, someone, and Bubba, and they were all like 22 to 28 to 1. And that was our entire card. And realistically, the weeks that I actually win, or the weeks that I do that, very similar to last week, to be perfectly honest with you. It just didn't happen. But you get 1 or 2 of those guys in the mix, and then all of a sudden good things happen.
I don't know. I'm still a sucker for Cantlay too. Be hard to get talked off that. I like the guys that kind of just played. I know a lot of things didn't go right this week.
Bet everyone and see what happens.
No, what do you mean? I said 4 guys. And I know that I can't bet them. No, I'm strongly against that because I'd love to bet everybody, but I have said 4 guys.
So cross offs as outright bets for me. Rory, JT, Rahm. I'm not going that low. I'm going to cross off Tiger. I'm going to cross off Brooks. I'm going to cross off Finau. I'm going to cross off Hideki too. It'd be such a kick in the nuts if Hideki won after betting him for like 3 weeks in a row. So that leaves me with Dustin, Bubba, Cantlay, Xander. So I can figure it out from there. Bubba's the only one I'm in on for sure. I'll have my cheat sheet out on Wednesday in case people who want to know who's not going to win by seeing who I bet. But that's where I'm at.
Okay, and then I play that exact game, except I don't have Rahm crossed off, and the guys that are still alive are the 4 I said, and maybe I'd be smart enough to look at all the signs that are bright with neon lights pointing to saying, fuck everything you think, just bet Bubba Watson. That's everything says that.
That is exactly what I looked at the board. I was like, I don't care what Bubba. They could have put him at like 16 to 1. I was like, I'm betting Bubba here. Like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, so that would be and that's why I'm keeping him alive. And I have joked, and in all serious matter, you're the Bubba whisperer.
I was for 1 year.
But has he won without you?
No, he has not.
That's my point. You can't lose being the Bubba whisperer until he goes on to win in a week you didn't have him.
I didn't even have him for his 2 top 10s. Don't need him. Need him when he wins this week.
So yeah, so that's it. That's who I have. And yes, would a sane person probably not have Finau still standing and have a Xander still standing in their thought process? Probably. But that is not me. And I feel I got lucky 2 weeks ago that he didn't win, even though I was cheering for him to win. And I still think it's all there. And I do have scar tissue from the Bubba win here 2 years ago.
Yeah,
because I had Finau and Cantley.
So did I. I had Finau. I did not have Cantlay because I didn't bet him at 50-1, but we saw Bubba at 50-1, and we talked about Bubba's a great bet here, and then neither of us bet him.
Neither of us bet him.
Fortunately, he got us back twice that year, so that was good.
But as everyone's been well documented, that was the All-Star weekend, and even having that day, I got cocky. I didn't even bet him live. I think he was losing to both of those guys.
There is something about this course, and it's not going to apply to everyone, but we see it with Bubba. Like historically and like statistically, Bubba is not great around the greens, but these putting complexes are really bizarre. Like the greens themselves are really tricky. You have that Kikuya grass that is around, and that you can play the Kikuya drinking game this week if you want to die, because people will bring up Kikuya grass. Because it's really hard to hit the fairway here. Very narrow fairways. Everyone's in the rough. It's Kikuya. And you're like, oh my God, Kikuya. You know, they have this in South Africa. Did you know that? It's very thick. Either way, you have to know how to play your chips around here. And Bubba knows the short game around here. It's almost like at Augusta, where he just understands those complexes really well. Phil's very much the same way. And Phil has it, and Pebble Beach kind of goes into the same thing too. Like there's a reason that Phil can continuously gain so many strokes on and around the greens at Pebble Beach year after year, because he knows how it's set up. He's played it so many goddamn times. He knows if he short sides himself, he knows where he can actually put it to either A, make the putt, or B, put it close to the hole. And I think that same sort of logic applies at Riviera too. The guys that consistently do well. I look back at Bubba's past 5 years at this course, and those always have not been good Bubba years. Yes, he won 3 times 2 years ago. Remember the year before that? He was god-awful.
We're playing the purple ball, the pink balls
awful.
And shit. Yeah.
So, past 5 years, if you look at strokes gained off the tee, approach, around the green, and putting, he has gained in every single one of those metrics the past 5 years, outside of last year, where he lost 1 stroke on approach and still came T15. So, the past 5 years, 15th, 1st, 14th, 1st, 1st in his past 5 starts. He withdrew once because he was hurt. I like him a lot.
You won't be the only one.
I'm sure, and that never usually goes well for all of us.
No, listen, it makes so much sense. And as I said, I
think the names here are going to push people away from him, though. I really do. Like, why would I bet Bubba when I can bet Cantlay or Brooks at like the same price? I think people will outthink it.
Yeah. Again, that was the number one thing. And I got hit with a tweet first thing in the morning. Do not overthink it. It's Bubba. Everything says Bubba. I'm trying to make excuses for Dustin, but it should be Bubba. I don't mean excuses. I mean, I'm making excuses why I like Dustin so much. I think he's very much in his, he's played a couple weeks. This is going to sound so dumb. Sort of like how I liked the Juskovic in the Super Bowl. Because we hadn't seen it. Hadn't seen it in a couple weeks. They didn't put it on tape. Dustin, yes, I completely gave him a free pass yesterday. We got to the back nine yesterday. He couldn't buy a putt for 3.5 days, and he's hanging out with his father-in-law. Do you know how frustrated you get by day 4 on the back nine with your father-in-law, and you can't hit a putt? And the conditions are getting shit? So he gets a free pass from me. But even in Saudi, the guy was on top of flags, couldn't hit a putt. It might be this week. It could be next week.
He has not lost strokes putting at this event since 2015, where he lost 0.6 strokes. In every appearance he's made here since 2012, he is 7 of 8 gaining putts on the green. He knows these greens very well. I'm thinking about betting him. I really am.
We are literally, it's going to be one of those weekends where it's like, happy to learn how to putt. Like the 24 footers are dropping and the pin stocking ones, the 4 feet. So, and maybe it's next week in Mexico where he can crush it too. But we are, in my opinion, in a Dustin sweet spot. I didn't win a bet last week, but I had the willpower not to bet him. So here I am, 14-1 at the Riv. I don't know, man. I've cashed half a ticket on this here before a couple years ago. Would that have been 8-1?
I believe he was 5.5 to 1.
Unreal. So I'm here. The fact that he's playing, he's in it. I don't know. His even flow attitude off a shitty Sunday. Let's go. I don't have a concern. I've got a few concerns, but I'm excited.
Next range of guys. If you were to scrape off the top 10 that we just talked about, and the field only included the rest of these guys, it would still be one of the best fields of the year. Day, 33. Adam Scott for the first time this year, 33. Another guy who's won at Riviera and tends to play well here every single year. Leishman coming off the win, he's 40. Reed is 40. Phil is 40. Rose is 40 for whatever reason. And then Answer is 45 for whatever reason. Sergio, first time we've seen him, 50. So is Sung Jae. So is Morikawa. So is Bryson. You got Casey at 55 along with Spieth. Fitzmagic, Kuchar, both at 60. Defending champ JB Holmes at 70. Grace and and CH3, 80-1. If you want to play that Quail Hollow crossover, Max Homa is 90-1. He won at Quail Hollow last year.
If I made a bet in this range, it would be Paul Casey.
I think it would be. I think it would be Paul Casey for me too. And just it.
And
what do we do with his Sunday?
There's a book out there. I don't know those. I saw some horrific scoring and weird things yesterday that I don't know. You could almost free pass it. That's a dumb way to look at it, but if I'm gonna bet Paul Casey, I'm deciding to ignore on what
it got us a better number because there's no reason for Casey not to be like. Last time Adam Scott played, I believe he won, which was in Australia somewhere in like December, but he hasn't won like a real event in a long time. I mean, Casey only wins at Valspar, so maybe a top 5 bet on Paul Casey is probably the way that you would want to play this, but I like the number a lot. Yeah.
There's a book with 66 on Sung Jae. Sort of like
is this where Sung Jae gets it though?
I don't know, but I'm just gonna make the point sort of to like that rule we had with Cantley a couple years ago, like crossing 50, you got my attention, sir. But I don't want to bet you when you have the same, when you're expected to win at like 2022, which we see a lot because Sung Jae plays. He took a week off. I don't know if that's good or bad thing.
That's like taking a year off. He's probably the rustiest man on the planet at this point.
He's essentially Molinari, maybe.
Well, just to throw him into this mix, Molinari is 140-1. He has the same odds as Jim Furyk does this week.
Life comes at you fast.
I don't know. Is that an auto bet or just like? And he is god awful at this event too. Like even when he was good, he was bad at this event.
I will only say I'm not doing it, but you should because you were one of the people that was auto betting him when you thought like the 40 was too big a couple
40
weeks
at,
ago.
40 at Amex is a bit different.
Sorry, you're right. You have to beat Rom instead of 7 Roms.
Or 20 Roms.
Yeah. No.
At a course where you're terrible anyway.
No, fair point. And he's probably here because the Tiger invitation.
Yeah, Tiger's like, I dummied you at the Masters last year. Here's a free invite.
And it seemed every single International President's Cup team player got invited. Tiger was handing them out in the locker room.
Is Hadwin here?
Yes.
Okay.
110.
Then yes. He tends to play this course really well. Historically. Are we not giving JB Holmes enough credit here? He has 3 consecutive top 16 finishes.
Listen, maybe he wins. He can win.
He's also won a Quail Hollow, too.
I
might do it.
It's not
it gives me something to, like, if I tune in to fucking Sunday and JB Holmes is there and I'm there, like, screaming at my TV, it's like, this is unwatchable. I may as well at least have money on him. Right?
Sure. Yeah, the number seems fair for a defending champion. He is a guy. One of the reasons I like to bet Reed a lot is because when I feel he gets into the big moment on Sunday, if he got head to head with one of those top 5 names here, I don't like he doesn't wilt. He might not win, but he doesn't like wilt. You don't like feel it. You don't see it in his face for a moment. Now, maybe that's just my amateur psych degree that I'm trying to get my dad his money's worth, but I don't know.
Kokrak was the other guy that we had that year.
JB Holmes also doesn't, I feel like when he gets versus those top 5 players, maybe he just tries to slow them to death, but he doesn't wilt versus them. And he's held on a couple times, I feel, in his career at premium layouts. As you mentioned, Quail Hollow, that place hosts majors. He dethroned JT here last year. That all being said, I don't bet JB Holmes. I don't bet him.
I've won some cash on JB
in
the past. It's been good to me over the years. One of the few.
You got a huge win on him.
Quail Hollow.
There. Huge. Out of his, because that was probably his first win after the brain surgery.
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't be too hard on him for the slow play. The guy had like a lobotomy.
Okay, and
he rebounded and started winning on the PGA Tour again.
While we're here, Bryson got named to like the top 20 fittest athletes.
The gun show with Bryson.
America, and a lot of it's just funny. And then I saw the Golf Channel guys like debating it and saying it's not really fair because he's just Like his sample isn't long enough. He's just at the beginning of his
Fitness journey.
But also this new like distance report that's come out is essentially, it's like the complete antithesis of everything Bryson is trying to accomplish.
How so?
In that Bryson is trying to maximize distance to the extreme based on the rules and the technology and the balls and fitness. And even if you see like they're not like funny workouts, like the in-depth of his workouts. Like he does like the smallest little like twitches just to build like literally it's like mesmerizing.
You build those twitch muscles.
No, you'd be like bored. Like the focus it almost takes to like do that workout for that long kind of. Anyhow, it seemed like Bryson is trying to take how golf is being played at this very moment in time and go like 180 degrees with it. And I don't doubt that, sorry, that's a bad example. Like just take it to the limit.
Okay, so not the other way. Yeah. He's not like, he's not decreasing his distance.
The report is trying to like, Bryson is like the future before the future if they don't change it. Guys have already become fitnessy and everything, but like if they don't change it, the future golfer is Bryson. Is sort of like what Bryson is thinking.
Yeah, but nothing is going to change.
Golf's hard.
Not only is golf hard, but like distance is going to play and distance is going to matter. As much as they can talk about, they want to scale it back and do this and do that. They won't. They won't do that.
Listen, I don't know.
What are they going to do? Here, you have to play with a wooden ball.
No, there's a lot of weird things. It's say like Augusta's going to have its own like Augusta only ball.
That's interesting. But I feel like only the Masters can get away with that.
Of course they can, because no one's going to, okay, I'm not going to the Masters. Okay, don't come to the Masters.
Don't come. Go ahead.
Yeah, stay home.
Kenny, Kim, and I talked about this on an upcoming podcast, which we have already recorded, about Bryson. But he's going to figure this out.
100%.
Once he figures out how to hit the irons, like, and be able to judge the distance, like with his new frame, it's game on for Bryson.
Always. And you may as well, if the books want it, you may as well take those deep summer majors and bet him. Because he doesn't win early in the year anyway. He heats up. We see it as wins came, like FedEx Cup wins.
Yeah, basically Memorial and on.
It's when he wins. So you get these huge numbers. He's going to figure it out. Like him, don't like him, whatever. He's working 24 hours a day to perfect whatever he's doing. And I think we'll very much see it, though. Like, he's a form player. And he's a guy, I think we said it in the preview shows, because of everything he's doing, he's a guy you'd pay attention to anyway. I have a hyper focus on him because I'm just on a form watch. Because the second the form's coming, he's going to make it happen. He's too freaking good. And he works too hard.
Per my numbers, who do you think the best value in the field is?
Like, who ranks the highest on your model?
Who ranks the highest on my model versus their odds, would you say? Like, should be classified as essentially like 25-1, but is not. Or potentially higher.
Wow.
He has never played in this event before. He has a PGA Tour win.
Neiman?
Morikawa. Morikawa is 50-1, and you can find a 55 on him if you look hard enough. I just worry that he's never played it before, but everything just points to him being like, he putts well on POA. He's a ball striking fiend. He drives it deep. Like, should be really good here.
Yeah, and I will say to the point, and you could say it's like just a cop-out to like save my ass. I'm not saving my ass. I'll either hit a winner or I won't. But I truly believe if one of the elites don't win, and you could maybe call Morikawa that, it is like a either Morikawa phenom type or a Leishman, this guy wins. That doesn't like shock me. Yeah. Like we saw at Torrey Pines kind of body. There is no middle ground for a lost soul here.
The only drawback on Morikawa is the driving distance. Like, he is in the bottom half of this field in terms of distance. And that can be overcome because he's great with his irons. That goes a long way. But that would be the only holdback I would have.
He's not in the WGC, is he?
I believe he's 51st in the world.
Oh, wow.
So he's close.
We'll be getting something on all that official update soon, I would think.
Do you think it's funny that Morikawa is here, Wolf is here, and very cursed Victor Hovland not even invited?
Why wouldn't he be invited?
Because he went over and played in Europe. Like, he doesn't have his conditional status is way down versus the other Corn Ferry guys. So like Scheffler gets in and he doesn't. It feels like a big mistake on his part.
Yeah, I would think so. But he'll make up for it.
Sure.
Are we going to see him all through Florida? I would think so, right?
I would guess. Like, he's not in the Masters, so he needs to get himself in. I think he's close. Is there anyone else from this range? So Casey, like, do you want to bet Bryson? Because I don't really. I want to see him kind of figure it out first.
As I just said, no. I got suckered in. Sometimes to be a great desert golf player,
Spieth?
but not here. When is the next Spieth Comfort Zone track? Is that the Masters?
Valspar? He's won at Valspar.
Yeah.
I would think that he could be live at Mexico too, because you can hit.
Why not? Yeah,
you can hit it into the woods there and be like free drop, and be in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, we've seen it.
If Phil doesn't,
Phil on there.
if Phil hasn't qualified for the WGC and it doesn't look like he can, just get Phil as your caddy. Be like, Phil, teach me the tricks, man. Show me where the sprinkler heads are.
I love that. But yeah, no, I could see Spieth being totally live there. It's a short course that sometimes a guy like Dustin just decides he wants to hit all his putts.
Well, Dustin can like drive the greens there too. Him and Rahm. Let's see. Where is Colin Morikawa 53rd in the world? Scotty Scheffler 54th. Should he be the target for us here? Because we've liked Scheffler. He's played really well. He's advanced in the world rankings right along with those other guys. And he's more than double the price of Morikawa. And he has the distance to go along with it.
I like what you're selling. I just don't think I'll have any pennies left.
Just not, and he's not quality enough to go for it.
I would love to see it. I would really be mad at myself because I've bet this guy a lot, and
We're betting him like 28-1.
And I expect to lose a lot of money on Scheffler and Corey Connors this year. And I guess over 100-1 is the only place I can go again. But I don't have many pennies left once I decide what I'm gonna do.
God bless Bjorn Hunan for taking the week off. Shout out to that guy.
Well, fuck Thomas Peters for taking the week off.
I don't know if he was invited. I assume that's why he's not here. But that's okay, because when we get to the long shots right now, we can just take South African Thomas Peters. I bet EVR at 110-1 with the each way. I think he can compete here.
He just sell me. I like EVR. I'm one of those.
He's exactly like everyone else who competes here. He's long. He's a ball striking fiend, and he can't putt. Like, those are the types of guys that you take here. He's like when Luke List was good. He's like better Luke List.
Okay.
And it seems like all parts of his game they're not quite as hot as they were when he won over on the European tour during like the swing. But I don't know.
So Scotty and
like, put it this way. Brendan Todd is 100-1. Love Brendan Todd. EVR is 110-1. EVR is a better player.
Yeah, same with Scheffler. You'd rather bet Scheffler too. That just have almost the prototype that I'm paying for at 14-1.
Yeah.
And 10-1 maybe. So then in that case, does Cameron Champ at 100 do anything for you?
One of the reasons I didn't end up betting Champ last week, but he was a core part of my DraftKings lineups. And then he was like everyone else who didn't win on Sunday. It was like 9 over.
Crazy.
But he plays really well at short courses. He's kind of woodlandy that way. It's funny, like once you get him to scale back a little bit with the distance, like once he starts hitting irons off the tee, or if he just downgrades from the driver just a little bit, he's always going to be able to reach these par fives.
Can he scramble good enough here?
No, but bad scramblers can scramble well here because this entire course is really unique. Curious to see what he did last year.
Don't we have the easiest par fives here?
Yes.
I remember the year Tony lost.
He could not birdie. Yeah.
He could not birdie the easiest par five on tour for the season that weekend. It drove me bananas. And this is where we restarted. Was that last year?
What?
It was like a monsoon. We restarted.
Oh yeah, that's right. We had the restart after like 3 holes.
People were losing their minds. Not real golfers who are actually getting paid to play and had the birdie taken away maybe, but Twitter people were losing their minds.
We glossed over one guy, 2 guys, really. 3 guys.
Which range?
3 guys, like close to the very top.
Okay, we didn't talk about Patrick Reed?
Yeah, like we didn't talk about basically anyone 33 to 50.
I'll talk about Patrick Reed.
Justin Rose is Andrew Curse this week, if people need to know. People want to know that. That's Tim's one and done pick. It's a really good number for Justin Rose.
Great number.
Like, that's a scary good number for him.
Smart people who are allocating their funds properly could bet Justin Rose. Somebody who's betting where I'm going to bet this week just can't bet Justin Rose.
Missed the cut at the Farmers. That's his only PGA start so far this year.
He was in Singapore.
He was second in Singapore, but Kuchar won Singapore, right?
Yeah, whatever.
So it was Kuchar, Rose, then he came over to Torrey and missed the cut.
That's
This
fine.
course on paper sets up for him really well.
Same with Adam Scott. They seem like prototype guys for this sort of place.
Scott hasn't played in a while. Scott hasn't played since last year when he won the Australian PGA Championship.
Okay.
And then he played in the President's Cup. Or he played the President's Cup, then he played that.
I think this was after, but yeah. You aren't wrong. And listen, Reed, who it's a hard course. He seems to play well at these long distance courses. He was right there. He had himself in the mix at Torrey. Right? He had that great eagle early in the round to sort of catapult him in, and he was contending into the weekend, and we're here to stack Ryder Cup points all year long. I think that's a sneaky bet, but at this range, I just can't do it. And if I did, I'd rather bet Casey.
Sergio, 50-1. This used to be like his jam. He never won here, but he played well here every single year. Like when I think about like the prototype for the type of player that you want, Sergio is kind of the guy. Like historic Sergio. That's why Casey generally plays well here. Like they're very similar. Adam Scott. Scott's a bit longer than them, but like just pure ball striking. Those are the guys. Like if you were looking mid-tier, like that prototype. So we have to find them, but not them kind of thing. Because I don't know if Sergio's going to get it done here.
Sergio's been, he was in Saudi and he's been over. the stats won't show it on the deep dives.
No,
they're Euro
stats. Where's Victor Perez? He's inside the top 50 in the world.
He'll be there next week. We got to talk about Victor Perez. I would rather bet Paul Casey like 100 times than Sergio right now.
Sergio, 8th in Abu Dhabi, 23rd in Dubai, and then 6th in Saudi. Playing like all right.
I take back the 100 times in a row. I'd rather bet Paul Casey right now, but I would rather bet Paul Casey right now.
All right. It's a big number. 50.
It's a hard range. You mentioned Coke Rack.
Well, we're not down there yet, are we? No.
I don't know. We kind of cleared it with Scheffler and EVR, so I thought we
we did. Just very... the one guy to pay attention to, of the shorter hitters, Kevin Na plays really well at this course.
Kevin Na's playing well.
You wouldn't notice it that he's playing well, but he had that like bit of an injury. He couldn't drive the ball. All of a sudden, he's kind of getting it back a little bit. Just a little bit.
I bet Kevin last week. That was a mistake. Granted, if he had one fine back nine, he probably finishes
like T10 or something.
Like T5 maybe. The thing with Kevin Pat is,
he can't drive the ball.
Yes.
Like he's lost the ability to drive. And he was never a good driver to begin with. But he's bad now.
But last week, the field wasn't as strong. And yes, he has the swing season wins, but he has 3 wins in an 18-month span. He plays his best golf on short courses. His world ranking for last week's field, based to what his odds were kind of out of whack. In my opinion, I took the chance. Was very wrong. This field, I think, sets up way differently. I don't care to bet Kevin Na.
Kevin Na, 28th in the world rankings right now. It's good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So last week, he was probably like 5th or 6th in
world
the
ranking
whole
wise.
field.
Yeah, and he was 80-1.
And he was 80-1.
He's 80-1 again here now. Last week was probably the better bet. You're right. But just for whatever reason, he and Hadwin are both short hitters that tend to play well here, which I found interesting. I'm not betting Hadwin. I'd probably prefer to bet Coke Rack if I was going to do it. And in this range, like I said, like for me, I'm eyeing Casey, I'm eyeing Sergio, I'm eyeing Rose, and I'm eyeing JB, but I can't commit to any of them yet. I want to think about it a little bit more.
I feel like has Neiman played here before?
Neiman?
Neiman and Grillo. Those guys have good runs here? Or were there like amateur events here?
I don't know.
I feel like
that's a Josh Perry question. Don't ask me that. Genesis. Neiman was 44th last year here. Lost 4.5 strokes putting. Tee to green. Yeah. Very high up. Could not make a putt. Interesting. But he is sort of like the Sergio type, Casey type. Like that's what he does well. Strikes the hell out of the ball. 90-1? You've piqued my interest.
I don't know if I'm money left.
Longshots. I already mentioned I like EVR at 111. I've actually bet that already. I'm looking at Scheffler and Kokrak at 125
So why not
to
Wolf?
1. Wolf's approach has just been bad. Like, he can't strike an iron at this point.
And any love for a guy like Connors this week?
I like Connors every week, but I don't know if this is going to be the spot for him. I think if I was going to go like super deep, and I don't think I'd do an outright on it. I mean, I would because I'm a sucker like that. They're like $5 on them to win or something. But like top 20 wise, Carlos Ortiz has never finished worse than T26 in 3 starts at this event. I liked him 2
Saw him
weeks.
in your article.
I liked him 2 weeks ago when he shit the bed, but sometimes you have a bad week. I wish I had listened to Rick last week and got back on Lonto after one bad week. Ortiz is what, 200 to 1? I don't think that he is going to win, but his odds for a top 20 are probably 8 to 1. It's pretty good. Like DraftKings wise, I like him. So I could see myself getting suckered in.
What about... never mind. I'll say it.
Let's play a game.
If the conditions are really bad, Willett has a chance?
I totally forgot Willett was here. But yes, if the conditions get
They're
really,
like really bad.
if the conditions are tough, then yeah, I do think he's live because he's live on these courses anyway. Because he'll like make birdies on. He plays the long par 4s well. He plays par 3s really well. The par 5s here aren't daunting enough that it does keep the shorter hitters in play. If the ball striking's on, why not? I don't see why that would be that big of an issue. Like I prefer Willett at his 140 to Molinari at his 140. Like of the 140, like 125 and above guys, he's by far the best player. Unless like Keegan has a week.
No.
Nah?
Maybe. I don't know. So that Patrick Rogers love got ended quickly last week.
I felt very good about no Rogers, no Knox. That was like my one good takeaway from Pebble. Avoided the disaster on those guys.
Okay, I guess Siwoo, what, 500 to 1 yet? Where are we?
Siwoo's 400 to 1. He was top 5 here last year. This is the big Siwoo. This is the big Siwoo payday. Back-to-back weeks last year. Pebble and this week.
Oh my! Was it Pebble or he was? Those irons were unconscious. Was it here?
It was here.
Couldn't make the putt. It was a wet Sunday and just Nance and this guy from like 205 out on like was just sticking
three wood from the rough in like the trees sticking it. You see, like, it's the reason, like, people, it's funny because so many new people have come to the show, like, they don't quite understand the Siwoo thing.
And then they roster him in DraftKings and
wonder
what happened.
The whole thing is, like, you don't ever roster him on DraftKings. You bet him at 400 to 1 because he could win at 400 to 1. Because you see these rounds from, you're like, it's like when Reed gets going and you're like, where is this every time?
Yeah.
Like, why are you in the woods half the time? Like, what is going on here?
And
then you see it with Siwoo, you're like, why is he sticking it to 3 feet every time?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening?
These holes, like, no one's hardest hole of the day, Jim. And then
you remember
ball comes out of the sky.
And it's funny because Rory has really cleaned out this part of his game where he's far more consistent now. But remember we'd see these like peak Rory rounds and it would be like everyone else is even in the field because it's a rough day, but Rory's 8 under because he's put everything to 5 feet regardless of where his drive went. Yeah. Siwoo has those rounds. They just now happen once a year now instead of with Rory. It's happening like once a tournament.
Yeah, and Siwoo, just putting it together a couple days.
Poor guy. I think the military service is getting to him. I think he sees that looming.
That sucks.
Yeah.
He's a bat out of hell sometimes, though, man.
Do we get back on Patrick Rogers? Is this the time to go to Patrick Rogers?
Maybe. I don't know. Everyone's hating on him. I saw Affy Barnrat shot David Duval type scores last week.
There was a couple really. Ryan Brem, I think, shot 90.
Well, he was on the weekend, so that looked bad. Because he made the cut. 2
guys I have for you. And I don't know if I want to bet them outright or what I really want to do. Your guy, 160 to 1, Andrew Putnam.
Okay.
He's played well at courses where Dustin Johnson plays well.
He just had a withdraw, though. Is there something there?
I don't know. He's playing this week, so I assume he's fine. The other guy, Joel Damon, 275 to 1. Over the past 12 rounds, I know it's a short sample, but current form, he ranks 5th in this field on par 4s from 450 to 500 yards. He does not have the distance you would love, but he's like average. And if you do play that Quail Hollow crossover, he was the guy who lost to Max Homa, if you remember well, last year. Everyone thought that Damon was going to get that win. Everyone was super psyched, and then Homa comes out of nowhere and just makes every putt and beats him. But I think ball striking wise, Damon's like, all right. And Sneaky was one of the few guys who played well yesterday. He was T14 at Pebble Beach. And at Pebble Beach, 2 off the tee, 3 on approach in those 2 rounds. Not bad. And a T20 would pay around 9 or 10 to 1.
Don't mind me. I'm just seeing if my street book posted yet. Sometimes, they're not on the ball.
Should probably not be advocating illegal gambling places on this show, sir.
But, yeah, fair enough. No, they haven't posted.
Answer at 40 makes no sense to me. I get that answer's good, but
no.
Better than Morikawa?
No.
Good?
I was betting this guy 40 out of
American Express.
Yeah, like that. No. That's a great point. 40 at the fuck is that? Watch him win, but no. I think if I power ranked everyone under 50 to 1, he might be the last guy I'd bet.
I would probably, Phil has the experience here.
Okay, fine.
And he hits bombs now, so
You're
that
right.
helps.
Maybe I had to Phil. Bryson would be a wild card. I'd still probably take Bryson. Yeah, for sure.
Past 36 rounds, looking at that key par 4 range, the 450 to 500, where the hardest holes actually occur, Neiman's inside the top 10 in this field. So is Bubba. So is Reed. Sebastian Munoz, Rahm, Finau, Woods, Brooks, Hadwin.
Yeah, so should Neiman take the Byung-Hun An allocation money this week?
The Byung-Hun An of the week?
Yeah.
Joaquin Neiman? Yeah, why not?
He's doing it. He'll be infuriating to shot trace though.
Yeah, and we
finally
get Shot Tracker back now too.
And he'll be tight, and you'll be so frustrated when the putt doesn't drop because of how tight it was.
He lost 7 strokes putting at the Sony. 7. That's a lot.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, that's you're actively missing. That's Paul.
Yeah.
That's Justin Thomas from the final round here last year. Bad.
I wish Reed wasn't such an enigma.
What about your guy Noren?
He's coming on. I bet him last week.
He was good through 3 rounds or 2.5 rounds.
He
had a very Casey-esque week.
He had a great, he was crushing Friday, the hard holes of Pebble, but couldn't make anything on the easy ones.
Interesting.
And you know what? Tip to Steve Rawlings, Steve the punter. He tipped on Thursday on his I guess he does post-round tips. He suggested, got better to be lucky than good, but Nick Taylor after round 1 at 22 to 1 was a very good play because of the course rotation, because history showed leaders at this event are there on Sunday. He didn't necessarily guarantee the win at that moment, but he's that number is just really good for the history of this event.
And a guy who's currently winning.
And a guy that's acknowledged how much he likes Pebble Beach as a course.
Nick Taylor back-to-back this week?
No, I'm not there, but yeah, I don't know. The guy was still, Nick Taylor was standing after each round, wire to wire.
You know what bet I'm going to make? Low Mexican, Ortiz over Answer. If I can find that bet. I like that bet this week. Because you have to think at 40 to 1 versus a 200 to 1 guy, that Answer would be a minus 350 favorite, right? In the way that those odds work.
I agree.
So you get plus 275
Trying to find if
on
there's
Ortiz.
is there no Weasley third Mexican? No, there definitely isn't.
I don't think, unless Ortiz's brother is playing. You know who really let me down on Saturday? Jimmy Walker.
90 to 1. Noren?
The round that everyone had on Sunday, Jimmy Walker had on Saturday.
I didn't see it. He was probably so far back the cut line. That
he was there. He threw 2 rounds. He was at 5 under. I was this isn't a bad spot to be in. You're going to, I think he ended up playing Spyglass, which played super tough on Saturday. But I was just shoot 2-3 under. And I didn't expect Taylor to go out and have such a giant lead, but I assumed he would be in the mix, 4 or 5 back, that kind of thing. Then he was 7 over on the back 9. Thanks for showing up, Jimmy. Appreciate it. One player has made the cut here every year. I believe we were on him last year, and he made the cut, then really let us down on the weekend. Trying to find his odds, but I can't.
Charles Howell III?
It is not Charles Howell III.
Because I haven't bet.
And I just spelled that guy's name wrong. Charles Howell III is actually 225. He's 80 to 1. My guy here is 225 to 1. I'm more thinking about this from a T20 DraftKings perspective now.
Who?
Really let me down this week. My one Nick Taylor lineup that I had 5 of 6 in, I played the course stacks, and Nick Taylor ended up on this team. Sung Kang, who was he was very Kevin Na-esque in that first round. He was 4 under, and then he ended the day 5 over. But he was awful.
Okay,
But he's played this course really well the past 4 years. 225 to 1.
I'm going to go quite a bit higher into a range that I'm not really going to be betting from. But two guys that I do like when they do get to tougher courses are Norn and Brennan Grace.
I didn't even see Grace.
He's at 80. If I was in this range. But Norn, I feel like what I'm saying, like, let's just wait for Norn to get to harder courses. And then he'll have my attention again.
Honda seems like a good spot for him if he plays.
Hope he plays.
I think he might play. We can go cheer him on.
Yeah.
Chuck Hoffman? Used to be a guy who killed this course.
You can bet him first round leader.
Oh, yeah.
With
Good,
Nick Watney.
Good call. Yeah. Watney Hoffman, first round leader. What did he end up? Oh, he ended up missing the cut last week? Shit, he was in it. I just assumed that because I didn't see him on the leaderboard that all of a sudden that, he was like 1 under because he had blown up on Sunday. Didn't even get there. Fun stuff. All right. I think we've talked this through a little bit. Let's get some quick picks in us. Quick picks for the Genesis Invitational. I am betting one, Mr. Bubba Watson, at 22-1. I am betting Eric Verhooyen, the Dutchman from South Africa, an Afrikaans, at 110-1 with the top 5 each way. The other guys garnering my interest from the top, and I'll release these later in the week because I want to deep dive on it a bit more. Dustin at 14-1, Cantlay and Xander 20 and 22. Probably end up with one of those guys. I'll probably end up with one of Rose, Casey, or Sergio. I'm going to bet the Byung-Hun An of the week, Joaquin Niemann, at 90-1. I'm going to do that right now as soon as we end the show.
I feel like I got to do it too.
I'm thinking about JB Holmes at 70 for a repeat, but maybe that's more of a top 10 play. I don't know. I might add Scheffler to that card, and I may have talked myself into Ortiz or Damon. But I do like that Ortiz over Answer low Mexican if you can find it. So that's where I'm kind of ranging at right now. I officially only have 2 bets in. Neiman will make 3, but trying to gauge my interest here of really where I want to hammer down. You.
These goddamn carrier pigeons.
This is the part that I cut out and sent to them,
Sorry. It's still real to me, damn it.
You don't need to tag Jeff in tweets to say that Phillip Rivers is leaving. He knows. You saw, did you?
Dustin,
you were aware of the news?
Yeah. No, but now it's... never.
Go ahead.
Can we just restart this
No,
whole thing?
we're editing it out anyway for them.
Fine.
This is going to keep the real show. This is all in. I'm not cutting this part out.
No, I'm just saying now it's like people that haven't spoken to me in like 3 years. Send me a fucking text. Go fuck yourself. Dustin Johnson, I have bet on. And this is going to be either, like you, there's decisions to be made. I'm either going to bet Dustin Johnson and John Rahm and call it a day with the Byung-Hun and special of Neiman, or bet Dustin Johnson with Cantlay and Finau.
Just bet Bubba. Do it. Do it.
I should. A sane person would.
Actually, a sane person would not bet Bubba.
As much as I said during the show, everything's just pointing there in bright neon lights. I'm not like feeling it. I'm not feeling that pull. I'm being pulled by losers. Imagine betting Finau instead of Bubba Watson. What a clown. Like, woof.
One and done selections for the week. Tim has already made his. He sent it to us. He's taking Justin Rose. I finally won the week with Jason Day, which I thank you for because you picked first last week. We were both between Casey and Day. You picked Casey. I ended up with Day. I'm going to take, guess who?
Bubba Watson.
Bubba Watson is my one and done. I have a feeling that even if people don't bet him, he's going to be one of the more popular one and dones this week. I see no reason to fade him, to be perfectly honest with you, but I think it's a nice spot to use Dustin if you wanted to. It's a nice spot to use one of the very elite guys because this tournament has boku bucks in it now because it's an invitational. The purse got juiced up by $2 million. And I think a lot of people are going to stick in that Xander, Cantlay, Bubba, Hideki, Finau range and not use Rory, JT, Rahm, or DJ.
For our show, you give me Cantlay, but I will be throwing a hammer in the gut, like a bigger hammer.
I don't know if I'm going to use Bubba in the gups, but for us, we are. All right, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. AFC win total recap coming up this week with me and Cust. Rick Gaiman. Tuesday, baseball. UFC, golf talk. A lot coming up on the Pat Mayo Experience. People want to get into a draw because they want to get those shows immediately for 100 DraftKings dollars. Subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. Leave a 5-star review. DraftKings handle something you like about this show. You're going to draw for 100 DK bucks. For 20 DK bucks, 2 ways to do so. Smash the like, leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section of this video. Tell me who you think is going to win. Or follow me on Instagram at the PME. Like any golf photo that comes up. And leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. You'll be in that draw for 20 DK bucks as well, which you can use to play in the Pat Mayo Experience DraftKings Open. The link in the description of this podcast and video. It's rake free. Fucking play in it. Give your head a shake. What's wrong with you? And that'll do it for us. We'll be back later this week. Enjoy the golf this weekend because it's going to be fun. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!